told his tale. And I will tell you mine. I remember pieces. Memories of different men. And I saw it. Your name. Victor Frankenstein. My creator. I demand a single grace from you. If you are not to award me love, then I will indulge in rage. Now, run.
Every day I'm gonna be watching, and the same day I'm gonna be talking about a movie I've never ever seen. Some I'll be watching on my laptop, some on my tablet, some on my TV, and some of them I'll see on the big screen. It's movie month time, what a way to make a podcast. Yes, it's all month long, from the 1st of June to the last. I will watch a film and then I will talk about it. It's 30 movie days of fun, 'cause there is no June 31.
Happy Thursday, everybody. It is Thursday, June 25th, which means for the 25th day in a row, I watched a movie I've never seen before. And for that same 25th day in a row, I am here podcasting about it to you. And today, I am going back into the Guillermo del Toro world to talk about his 2025 epic gothic horror fantasy fairy tale adaptation of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, simply titled Frankenstein. This is my 5th Guillermo del Toro film, and yet I still haven't seen the one that I feel like put him on the map. However, starting all the way back in 2014, I watched 2 of his movies, Pacific Rim and Hellboy 2. Then in 2016, Crimson Peak. And then in 2018, The Shape of Water. And it's been years since I've seen a Del Toro movie. But that changed today as I finally watched, as I said, his version of Frankenstein, made specifically for Netflix, which... it's like part of me thinks, oh, I wish that this was like a big budget in the theater, made lots of money kind of movie. And the fact that Netflix gets this is like, it's like, it's a weird, it's like a double-sided coin. I don't know if that's the right thing, because it's the convenience of the fact that I can just watch this on my TV is nice. And I guess they did put it in theaters, and you had that chance. But the fact that it's made for Netflix, I don't know. It didn't actually take away from it. It felt big budget. It felt like a high end movie. So there's that side. But then there's the side of me that thinks, well, who knows if these movies would have been made if not for the ability to have things like Netflix. Then at the same time, Netflix raises their prices because they make these giant big budget movies. Either way, I watched it. And I have to say, I thoroughly enjoyed it. The story, here's the thing. I don't know a lot about like the actual story of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. I know of Young Frankenstein. I know of the Monster Squad's Frankenstein. I know of Herman Munster. And I know like the beats, I know a little bit about the Karloff's Frankenstein, Karloff, sidekick. It's all grunting. That limey cocksucker can run to hell for. Okay, sorry for the language, but I can't say Karloff without sounding like Martin Landau's Bela Lugosi. So, it's like I know. There's the doctor, then there's the monster, and he takes body parts and he builds a man, and he's got Igor, and he creates this monster. The monster comes to life. Like, I don't even think I've ever seen the Universal Studios original film. The original like Universal, golden era, whatever you want to call it, Universal Monsters. I don't think I've ever even seen that, but it's like you just kind of know it. It's weird. Like maybe I've seen bits and pieces of it, or again, maybe I just remember Young Frankenstein more. So I don't know how much of this is originally an original Del Toro story that's using the Frankenstein like boilerplate. Is that the right thing? Like the blueprints to tell this larger than life movie. From the monster's perspective, the monster, the creature, the creation. We should say the creation. I don't even want to call him the creature, the creation, even though he's titled as the creature. I don't know. Like this is a much more advanced version of the monster. Except for comedic effect, most of the time you see the monster as so seeing that this creation evolved and got smarter as the movie went on, was interesting to me. And just the thing with the Del Toro movies is they like the stories are enjoyable, but they're beautiful to look at. They are stunning, and it feels lived in, like it feels like it's tactile, like it's there. Like, some of these things are digital in the background, there's structures in the buildings, but everything feels larger than life. Like, they're in this space, this giant laboratory. Just the visuals of the human, like the remains that they were using to practice, and those bodies, like the body that's crouched up and curled up and like in the fetal position or whatever it is. Then later we have like a whimsical movement of Victor Frankenstein sawing body parts together. I mean, if that doesn't like scream Del Toro right there, I don't know, because it's a spectacle. It's it is a fairy tale and a romance and horror all in one. It is a story of fathers and sons. It's a big fathers and sons things where you see this, Victor Frankenstein had a son of a bitch for a father. And he loved his mother, but his mother died young. And that kind of seemed like, to me, it shaped his entire life. Well, if mother dies, I want to be able to stop death so nothing like this happens again. So all of this, I think, is because his mother died and his father's an a-hole. And played by the great Charles Dance. Is he ever a good dad? Ever? So, we see him in his later on in life. His whole life was trying to defeat death, and he keeps seeing this red guardian angel, which his mother was in red. So it's all his mother. You see him later, he's in red sheets. Like everything is for his mommy. And, to defy his dad. I thought he was going to take a stick and hit his dad at one point because his dad hit him, and he's like, I'm going to show you, father, I will defeat death. That didn't happen, but he did defeat death. We see a scene where he's like in a medical room in the round, and he's showing off that he's able to use electrical charges to stimulate life in a dead body. And it seemed to work on a smaller scale. But like the people that ran this, I don't know if it's a school or a hospital or a medical facility, they thought it was an abomination of God. And they basically, said, nope, no thanks. We don't want anything to do with you. So then you meet Herlander, Christoph Waltz, who is always delightful. Always, I could just listen to him talk. And he's like, I will help you with your creation. Like he buys into it. He believes it. Now he said, I may ask for a favor at some point. And we come to find out later. I mean, I'm all over the place, so forgive me. It is pretty late and you're going to hear me trying to stifle yawns. It's a long movie. But really he's funding this to see it through, we think, and he's all excited and he wants to see the scientific breakthrough. But really, towards the end, he's like, no, I want you to make me put me in this thing. He's dying of like syphilis infection. What do you say? One night with Venus and the rest with Mercury. I never thought of that. Like, so he spent a night with a woman, the wrong woman, a prostitute, and the rest of his life he's taking Mercury to try to stem off the death of his death and his illness. He does stem off the death from syphilis by dying from falling, and then from there on out, we see the beginning of the end for Victor. Oscar Isaac plays he can play a good, guy you root for, and he can play a good asshole. And almost like, it's been a while since I've seen Ex Machina, but he was in that, and it's kind of similar, right? He didn't create an AI robot, and he was like the creator of that. So that's almost like a prequel. This is almost like a prequel to that. So the whole movie was kind of like we were brought in towards the end. Really, we're brought into there's this ship that is stuck in ice. I don't know if they're Finnish or there's some sort of Scandinavian, European, I don't know, but it doesn't matter. They're stuck and they see an explosion in the ice. They go and they find Victor Frankenstein, and he's busted up. He's got a prosthetic leg, and he is, they bring him back to the ship. They try to nurse him back to health, and then they realize there's this thing coming after them, this creature, this monster. Bring me him. And it keeps saying, Victor, I want him, leave him to me. So we realize the monster is already there, already happening. He's already chasing down this Victor Frankenstein. And, this creature, this creation, I feel bad calling him a creature. He smashes up the ship. He kills some of the guys, but they shoot through the ice and he falls through the ice. And they're like, all right, he's fine. He's gone. And Victor wakes up and is like, no, he'll be back. He will be back. And the rest, like he does try to come back a couple times. He fights a little more than he basically, Victor tells his story while the creature is coming back. So we go all the way back. Victor's like, let me tell you my tale. And that's where we get the flashback of him all the way from his childhood up through his adult years, up through meeting Christoph Waltz and getting completely funded. He's got a brother named Billy Frankenstein and William Frankenstein, who they get separated. After his mother died in childbirth, the father actually loved William, but then the father died and William and he were separated. And years later, Victor is he's a man obsessed with fixing death, and that's when Highlander shows up and says he wants to. I'm here in response to your brother and his fiance, who happens to be her niece, and that's played by the great Mia Goth, who I fell in love with last year. Saw her in X, fell in love with her in Pearl, and then of course Maxine as well. That trilogy last year. So now she's another one of these actresses where I'm like, wait, she's in this? Oh, that's something that like is that's of interest to me. So you've got her and Victor, and they spark up like a friendship, but Victor thinks it's more, and Elizabeth's like, oh, I don't know about that. Like almost like she thinks it's more too, but she doesn't want to go through with it. She's marrying his brother. While that's all going on, they know that he's working on trying to reanimate dead tissue. They go back, maybe getting ready for the wedding or something. That leaves Victor and Erlander, whatever, however you say it. And they go through the whole thing of, they're looking for dead bodies. They don't find any abnormal brain or anything, but there's a whole fun thing where there's a war, so they go through the battlefield and search out the best body parts, and that's when Victor puts them all together, and he figures it out. He figures out what he needs to do, and this is when Arlander's like, you got to put me inside the body, and he's like, no way, dude, that's crazy. You're riddled. You're riddled with syphilis, and it's not going to work. Basically, I think he's saying your body is so broken down that it will actually ruin what I'm trying to do here. So Erlander falls down this giant hole. He in the middle of the whole castle Frankenstein. Basically, he set him up with his castle that has a lift all the way to the top and the bottom, which made me think of just like I thought they were gonna he was gonna crank up and bring the body up to get struck by lightning. So he dies, but Victor perseveres. He goes on. And we get a very unique version, and very like it's a wild one, because at a certain point, like the creation's body, the arms go up. First you're thinking like he's doing a Christ on the cross thing. You're like, Jesus, that's like a little on the nose, but then the hands go up. Still though, it's very much like a resurrection of sorts. Lightning strikes, and he's like, come on, yes, oh no, nothing happens. He goes to bed. He wakes up, and there's the the creation standing over him, and that's when we get this whole like, he starts teaching him, and he's excited for him, and all that this creation can say is Victor, Victor. And it gets to the point where Victor kind of gets annoyed. He's like, okay, but other things, other words. He gets so annoyed that he can't say any other word, and he'd be like, you're wonderful. This is amazing. Let me chain you up right here. Like you could see that Victor is soulless. And it's funny, his brother asks him later, like, when you created the man, where does the soul come? How do you get the soul? And he's like, I don't know. And I don't know if Victor has a soul, or at least he doesn't seem like he has one for a while. He basically, Elizabeth and the brother, Billy, come back to visit the uncle. And he's like, the uncle isn't here. He left. He's been gone for a couple of days. She goes down. She sees the creature, and she kind of connects with it right away. And she notices creation. She notices the Victor calls it. He's like, that's what it is. It isn't it. You need to stay away from it. And you could see though, there's more. Like there's Jacob Elordi. I haven't talked about him at all. I don't know him except for the fact that he's Jacob Elordi. Like I couldn't tell you if I've seen him in anything. In fact, I'm 95% positive this is the first thing I've ever seen him in. I haven't seen any of the Kissing Booth movies. That's my first knowledge of who he is. But nope, didn't see any of those. I've seen nothing with him except this, and when he hosted Saturday Night Live. But I just know who he is. He's a big, tall, handsome dude, and he's playing the monster, and he was pretty great. So you could see he has emotion, and he doesn't like being trapped, and he's like, he's doing things down there. He's playing with leaves. You could see Elizabeth is kind of infatuated with him and talks to him, and then he says the second word, Elizabeth. He doesn't say, Elizabeth, I'm coming for you. This is the big one. He says, Elizabeth. And she, I don't know if she ever hears it, but I'm pretty sure Victor hears it later. So they leave to go back to get married. Oh, they're kind of upset, and they leave. He's like, don't worry. But then he goes and he's like, this was a bad idea. This was a terrible idea. I did it, but this is, whatever. I'm going to burn the whole thing down. So he decides he's going to kill the creation. But thankfully the creation gets away. they turn around and come back just in time to see Victor get blown out of the building, exploded. That's when his leg gets all messed up. Obviously has to be amputated, and that's when we see him later with the fake leg, the prosthetic leg. So then on the ship in the present day, the monster shows up and he's like, I'm here for him. And the captain of the ship, by the way, is Lars Mikkelsen, also known as Mads Mikkelsen's brother, General, what the hell's his name? In the blue guy in the Star Wars movies, Thrawn, Admiral Thrawn. I read that original trilogy. He played Thrawn on some of the animated shows and in some of the Disney Plus shows, the live action stuff. So he plays the captain of this ship, and then the creation comes in and says, "Oh, he told you his story. Now I'm going to tell you mine, mother effer." So then we get his tale of what happens after he escapes. He goes and kind of lives in the woods a little bit. He gets hunted by these people, but then he hides in this house. David Bradley, who I know from all the Harry Potter movies, he plays the blind man. So we get the blind man version of like that from the Frankenstein. I mean, from the original Frankenstein. He played Filch in Harry Potter. He was the Red Wedding. Remember that? We all remember that. So he ends up living in this cabin with his family. The family leaves. He's like, I'm staying behind. I stay behind all winter. And we find out that the creation has been helping this family, and they call him the spirit of the woods. He's been doing what he can to help, to endear themselves. They would leave out clothes and food, and he would kind of help hunt and do things for them. And so when the family leaves, he goes in and they become fast friends. Blind man teaches them how to read. And then he tells them, I don't know who I am. I don't know what I am, but there's one name that keeps popping. I don't remember, because we find out that he dies and he seems to come back. Now, I'm saying he doesn't remember things like that, but maybe he was so early on that there was a death or something. And then he came back, cause he definitely got shot and then he would heal. And it's for some reason though, he didn't remember, anything except for the fact of Victor. He didn't quite remember. But he goes, then you must go find out. So he goes to the castle. He sees, he finds pictures of himself. He finds all these things about the scientific books, but he doesn't find any people. And he comes back and he's like, I know what I am. I'm an abomination. But when he gets back, the wolves showed up and they killed the blind man, even though they had a few moments to talk towards, before the death. Killed the blind man. And the family comes back. He's like, no, that monster killed him. He's like, no, I didn't. And then they shoot at him. They leave him for dead. But guess what? He comes right back. He grows up. He regenerates. And then he goes to, he shows up at the wedding, basically right before the wedding. And I almost forgot about this part. He tracks down Frankenstein, and he doesn't even say he wants to kill him. He says, I want you to make me a companion. He doesn't say a bride of Frankenstein. He just wants a companion. He had a companion with the blind man. It was wonderful. He had a bit of a companion with Elizabeth. Now he wants a companion, and he's like, no way. So he goes, well, then if you're not going to give me love, I'm going to show you force. And he starts beating the crap out of him. Elizabeth comes in and she's like, what is going on here? And Victor picks up a gun. He goes, get out of the way, Elizabeth. She's like, screams. He shoots like an idiot, shoots Elizabeth. And they're like, he goes, the monster, it attacked her. And the creation picks up Elizabeth and runs off. Before it knocks William out of the way, he hits his head. He's dead. So he's out of the picture. Elizabeth gets carried into the woods. She dies, but they have a nice little moment of, like the fact they basically seem like they were almost soulmates. And they seem to have a connection. She died. So now he's pissed. And we got Victor basically saying, now I need to hunt down this monster and kill it. And he turns into this like hunter who will go at any cost to chase this monster down, which led across, even north up to the North Pole, I guess, or wherever they were, near the North Pole, into this ice, and that's what led to the dog sleds and the he got dynamite, and then the creation. I was like, well, I would like to die. He doesn't like the fact that he keeps coming back and reliving this non-existent life. So he's like, I will take the dynamite. If I die, great, it's over. If I don't die, I'm coming for you. And so the explosion happens, and he goes, right away, I can already feel myself regenerating. And then he grabs Victor. Oh no, after the explosion, he's regenerating. That's when the guys from the boat show up, grab Victor, bring him back to the boat so that he could tell his story. And that leads to the monster, the creation, finally getting back to the ship and telling his story. And it kind of ends sweetly in a way that, Victor regrets things, but then he finally says, you're my son. And in the creation calls him father. And I thought he was going to say, my father gave me this name, Victor, but I give you this name, Frankenstein, or something like. I thought he'd give him a name. I thought he would give him a name. He didn't, but he goes, was it him? Somebody said, it might have been him, was like, the only thing you can do now, if you can live, the fact that if you can't die, then you must live. So it's almost like this Frankenstein creation will now roam the earth and live out all its lives, outlive everyone, maybe help people along the way. I don't know, maybe something like that. But it ended with him. This thing is so strong. The creation took the boat, shook the boat, pushed the boat out of the ice into the water, and then walked off. I almost wanted to hear the Incredible Hulk music playing, and that's that. Like it's walking. It walked towards the sun. And that's funny. At the beginning, he's like, no, don't be afraid. It's the sun. It's warmth. It's the sun. It's nice. And he's walking towards the sun as it ending. Ooh, did I just pick up on that? Just a very sweet monster movie, a very romantic, not in the romantic, but almost in the gothic romance way. I think if I'm getting correctly, if I'm saying what gothic romance is, it felt like a big sweeping romantic movie of a guy, a creation who is learning who or what it is, and figuring, what is my purpose? Why am I here? Like that, having all these things. And the only thing he wanted was someone else to be with. And it seems like, at least in this instance, with this story, the creation couldn't have that. And it was just spectacular looking, beautiful looking. I can't say enough of how much I enjoyed this movie. Just the spectacle of watching it. The story was fun too. Like it was fun. It was fun and disturbing, and you really disliked. Like you're rooting for Victor at the beginning, but then you realize, oh no, he is the monster. I think his brother even said, this whole time, you were the monster the whole time, you stupid son of a bitch. And he was. You could see he was driven. He didn't care. His benefactor died, and he was like, okay, fine. I just shove you aside and let me put this lightning rod up there and get back to work. Just a bastard. But, he learned from his dad. And hopefully he didn't pass it on to his son. Also, very unique with the creation of the creature. It makes more sense. It's sewn pieces together. And boy, they sewed that face. I'll tell you one thing. Victor Frankenstein can make a dazzling monster face. But I liked it. It wasn't the with the bolts and the thing that I believe the movie. The original movie made that up with the flat top and all that stuff. I don't think it has anything to do with the book. But I do love the fact that he grows hair, like he is alive. And it's weird because at the beginning, Victor keeps shaving his head, and why was that? Why did he keep shaving his head? At first I thought he was giving him a haircut, but then you realize he kept him bald the entire time. Is it the idea that it makes him look, feel less human or less alive? or, to control, to be able to study more. I don't know. But did he expect at some point to dissect the brain? I don't know. I'm curious if they ever discuss why. There is a making of on the website that I want to check out, on the Netflix that I want to check out as well. Just a spectacle. And I think it was nominated for a bunch of awards. And I will look right now because I got the IMDb pulled up right here in front of me. And I remember not seeing, not wanting to see the creature, but at a certain point after time, you really couldn't avoid at least seeing him. Certain pictures. I was like, oh, I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. Okay, yes, it was nominated for a bunch of Academy Awards. Best cinematography, it was nominated. It won Best Makeup and Hairstyling. I think that seems pretty. I don't even know if I picked it or not. I must have picked it. So it was nominated for Best Music, Best Sound, Best Motion Picture. It was nominated for Best Actor in a supporting role for Jacob Elordi. It was he was nominated for Best Actor. And you know what? He was friggin' great. Best Adapted Screenplay, Best Achievement in Costume Design, Best Achievement in Production Design. Wait a minute. He wasn't nominated for Best Director? So you're telling me, what was nominated for Best Director? What are we looking at? I don't want to see Best Picture. I want to see what was nominated for Best Director in the 2026 Academy Awards. And here we know One Battle won. So we know PTA won. Paul Thomas directing. So it was Josh Safdie for Marty Supreme. Okay, yep. Ryan Coogler for Sinners. Yes. Chloe Zhao for Hamnet. I don't know. I know that people love that movie. Sentimental Value. Isn't that the one with Skarsgård? That, again, okay. I'm sure it's a fine movie, but sometimes directing is not just putting the camera in front of things. So I don't know what this sentimental value has as far as the look of the aesthetic. I don't know what Hamnet has. I know it's a period piece, so it's probably gorgeous. I know The Sinners was beautiful and well shot and amazing and had the style and everything. I know the One Battle was unique and had this crazy style too. And I know that Marty Supreme was directed. Every single one of these that I know of, I go, oh, that was chosen for a reason. So I can't say, oh, this Hamnet or Sentimental Value shouldn't have been chosen for directing because I haven't seen those. But the three that I have seen, I can say, oh yeah, they definitely I can see why they were nominated. But the fact that Guillermo wasn't nominated is maddening to me. Maddening, I say. I like him. First of all, I like him because he likes making these movies. I think there was a lot of, I don't know how much was digital effects because Jacob Elordi, I don't know how tall he is. And I'm going to find out right now. Jacob Elordi height. He is 6'5", so he's my brother's height. So he's a tall guy, but he's not a giant. So I'm thinking they did some forced perspective with things. Remember they did that in Elf. So instead of it being a digital effect, they choose angles and have people separated in space to make them look bigger. I don't know if that is the case, but I suspect that's the case, and I'd like to watch some of the behind the scenes to see if I'm correct about that. But he did great. So now he's another guy. He was in Wuthering Heights, which I don't think did well or was well received, but I'm sure he was good in it. I can't imagine. So he's another guy like this. I just want to say, he's another guy to look for. Mia Goth, Oscar Isaac, already Christoph Waltz. You already like seeing them. Mia Goth now, I want to see her and everything. And now Jacob Elordi, okay, he's reached the thing where he not just a guy on TV and some little romance movies. He should be in these big movies doing these big things. So Del Toro, I love that he makes these big gothic fairy tales. These, like Crimson Peak. Was it Crimson Peak? That the one I was talking about? That was a wild movie too. But then he'll go and he'll put on all this makeup and he'll be Pappy McPoyle on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. He seems like a guy, he's an artist who likes to have fun, and he loves the art, and he loves what he does, and you could feel that with certain directors, and this is the guy that, he just definitely feels that way. Now, I don't know, does he have something on the horizon? He's got upcoming Fury. Is he producing these? Oh, that's writing. I want to see what he's directing, which might be the same thing. So directing, upcoming, The Buried Giant and Fury. I don't know. In development could be anything. Fury, crime thriller where two men carry their past regrets, travel, starring Oscar Isaac. Why don't I keep calling him Author Isaac? And The Buried Giant, the journey of Axel and Beatrice, a couple who set off on a journey to find their son, who they have not seen for some time and actually do not remember very well. Okay, starring Ron Perlman. Again, I don't know. Anyone could put these things on IMDb. If they're announced, they will make a listing for them. So I hope there's something like that, because and there's still Del Toro movies in the past. I haven't seen Pan's Labyrinth. I don't know what else I haven't seen, but I haven't seen Pan's Labyrinth. I haven't seen probably a lot of things he's directed. I mean, Blade 2, haven't seen it. Hellboy, yes. Hellboy 2, yes. Pan's Labyrinth, no. Pacific Rim, yes. Let's see. The Strain, I did watch Crimson Peak, Shape of Water. Wait a minute. Nightmare Alley. Wait, I have watched a bunch of movies. So wait a minute. Nightmare, that was Del Toro too. Okay, I completely forgot. I did do Nightmare Alley for movie month too. So there's another movie right there. So there was one that I completely forgot. So now this is not my 1, 2, 3. This is not my 5th Guillermo del Toro movie. This is my 6th Guillermo del Toro movie. Did I do Hellboy? I don't think I did Hellboy, the original. That one I watched on my own before movie month. So this is my 6th Del Toro. Now, one of the things I wanted to talk about today was the weirdness of today, because this morning I decided I had it on my spreadsheet, but this morning I put a message out on Blue Sky, a quote from the movie. It's official. I'm doing Frankenstein. That's, to me, when I put the quote out, that means it's official. So that's what's happening during the day. After work, I take I tell my wife I'm going to the rail trail. I take my dog to the rail trail. My wife is dealing with foot issues. She couldn't go for the walk. So it's just me and the pup. And we go to the rail trail. And at a certain point, you're walking and you get near the MSPCA, and there's a little free library there. So I stop and I look at the little free library, and what is in there but a copy of Frankenstein by Mary Shelley, a little paperback version. I said, what are the odds of that? I took a picture of it, and maybe I'll put it in the show notes. Then I come home and I want to catch up on some Jeopardy. I have some old Jeopardy episodes, so I'm watching a few old Jeopardy episodes, and what is in, just randomly, not tonight's episode, one of the episodes that I watched tonight, what was it? What was one of the clues? A quote from friggin' Frankenstein, the book. That, my friends, is what we call a movie month miracle. Okay, I'm done now. It is getting close to 11, and I still have lots of work before I get this episode out to you. So I will see you tomorrow, my friends. But until then, you can follow me on all the socials at Geek Mentality, except TikTok, which is Geek Mentality Mike. Facebook is Fans Not Experts. YouTube is Fans Not Experts. And of course, the website is fansnotexperts.com. Yeah, that's it. I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. I borderline loved this movie, and it was just a spectacle and beautiful to look at. I wonder if people who are hardcore fans of like the original text and the original story, how they feel about this. But for me, I just thought it was pretty fantastic. All right, that is it. I am done. I will see you tomorrow, my friends. But until then, thank you for listening. Thank you for subscribing. And here is my theme song. This is my podcast. I made it. Geek Mentality's what I named it. And I think you should listen and subscribe, 'cause I'm kinda funny and awesome. I think that I'm worth your time, and I'm kinda handsome. My mom says, please listen and please subscribe. At least listen to this episode. Fans Not Experts.